Hello, gentle viewers. This is Ev Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Oakland Athletics. We have had 15 seasons with the Oakland A's and won 11 playoff appearances and 2 World Championships. I'd say that's pretty good, but I do think we need to do better. Last season we finished 94 and 68, yet got bounced out of the playoffs pretty quickly. So we're going to need to continue to improve, continue to thrive, and show that we can be what we should be. So let us begin as always with our coaching setup and make sure we're good there. We have a new scouting director and team trainer on the way and some other offers. Very, very good. Arbitration time. So right away, Shondo has already been offered a big time contract. I'm not worried about him. I'm not going to keep Chris Luberta. Like, what he provides is useful, but it's not so useful. Oh, no, you know what? I want to wait until we get a scouting director hired. So we'll advance time a bit and then worry about making offers to people. You want to make more money. 100 grand. And there goes David Gooda. Sure. I'll give you 126 grand. I will get into a bidding war. I don't even care. Are you fucking joking? Like, why am I fighting for a rookie league manager? Like, how good is this guy? He is pretty amazing. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you he's not, but, like, holy hell, man. DeWitt took the contract. You do not have a better offer. You're fucking playing me for a better, higher ranking job. Like, don't fucking bullshit me, my dude. What's the deal with the team trainer? I was still thinking about it. Well, think faster, you little shithead. You genuinely are not getting better offers. I will give you 200 grand, and if you don't fucking take it, you can go to hell. Because you're lying to me. You basically are getting really good placement offers. And that's what you crave. It's not, you know, this other bullshit. So you can get fucked, dude. I'm offering this to somebody else because you're clearly never going to accept my reasonable offer. Here you go. Josh Schaefer, you can have the job. I got better shit to spend my time on. Excellent. Excellent. Brilliant. There we go. Love it. Next on our list, now that we have a shiny new scouting director who's been scouting the shit out of things, now should have a much better sense of the actual skill rating of our different players, which is great. So Luberta ranks in at a 40. He's also somewhat outspoken, meaning there's no downside to with non-tendering him. I'd like to try to trade him for some kind of interesting prospect, but the answer will probably be nobody wants him. Tell a lie, David Galdamez. You know what? You're in, my friend. You are in. Done. McDevitt obviously gets a new deal. Like, he's too important to the team's success. I will happily give him the 1-year deal. Easy choice. Devin Schaffner has put together 2 back-to-back really good seasons. And while he hasn't been lights out in either season, he's been really solid, throwing lots of innings without beating himself. So I think offering him a reasonable extension is a smart idea. That looks good. Joel Volper is an interesting guy. He's been a top quality pitcher now for a few years. There is some argument to giving him a longer term deal. But I don't think I can. I think all my payroll flexibility vanished when I re-signed what's-his-face. So I think a 1-year deal for Mr. Volpert here is reasonable for sure. Done. Omar Cerna, we brought in toward the very end of the season to act as a backup catcher. I have no problem bringing him back for another year. The amount he's asking for in a raise is actually fairly substantial. I mean, Ronnie Small is also a prankster. No, I'm not going to keep him. I am going to let Cerna go. I will take a slight defensive hit in my backup catcher to... Yeah, nobody wants him. Understandable. You are non-tendered, my friend. Cody Shearer is probably fine. Aguilar is not. I will offer... Shearer doesn't have any range. What if I traded him too? Would I offered up him and Aguilar and asked for like a really nice prospect or regular? I wonder what we would get for that. I wonder. Really? But why? Why am I getting no offers whatsoever for them? Like, I ain't taking your $12 million shitty right fielder. We could try Irvin Sweetland, actually. I wouldn't be upset with that. At least let him compete for the third base job. I think that's reasonable, and that I think we can do. But, like, that was a weird thing there, for sure. Yeah, we're going to let Sweetland maybe try out third base a bit. But this is really going to come down to who can we actually find to play third base consistently. And that may mean finding a really great shortstop and kicking Hughes over to third. I don't know yet. But we're definitely going to need to address that somehow. We also have way too many outfielders, as is tradition. So we're going to need to do something about that as well. Like, we have 4 elite outfielders, which is a pretty good place to be at. We could always ship Eddie Williamson to first if we want to let him try to duplicate his success. But we'll have some interesting decisions to make for sure as this offseason continues. Do we have a great first baseman or third baseman? I have Steve Crawford, who's neither of those things. I have Devin Stallman. I think Mr. Stallman here is going to get an opportunity to play some third in spring training. Yeah. Now, the one thing we don't have is we don't really have a ready replacement for Omari Nickelberry. I mean, Luis Blas is... That is Blas, right? Yeah, it's Blas. Is actually pretty solid and probably deserves an opportunity, especially after the year he put up in AAA. Like, I ignore ERAs in the PCL. It's a major time hitters league, so it's understandable. Maybe I gotta fix this shit again. Game! Why? Every freaking time. And I know why it's happening. It's because when I play the Japanese league, Korean league, God, what the hell's wrong with me? When I play the Korean league, yeah. Oh, this is where I put the angel. This is where I put my rule 5 people. There we go. There's a lot of like low tier players here. I'm definitely gonna add Luis Blas. Jesus Bonilla still has quite a bit of potential to him, but he's 21 and hasn't gotten to AA yet. And this is from a guy that's been in the league for a while. So I kind of think we need to move on from Bonilla. Despite his amazing defense. Like, that's the one thing that gives me some pause. But I think, given our team's current strengths and weaknesses, we need infield help. Let's look for infielders. Or starting pitchers, actually. I'd also take a good starting pitching prospect if there was one. But I'm really focused on infielders so we can get them. Let's look for the green. Hi there, Luis Trujillo. You would be a fine first baseman. I'm definitely penciling that one in. Ibarra can't really handle the field. If that changeup had fully developed, I'd be a lot more willing to take on the risk. He is also a big dude. So there's a little bit to like about that too, but I don't want another outfielder. I refuse to take him out. Joe Ivy? Nope. He can't handle second with any level of skill. I mean, Trujillo is the obvious choice, right? He's the big-time thumper who might only get better in our offensive system. What if I asked for McAfee and Trujillo? I'm going to give you time to think about it, because I genuinely, like, I don't have to trade him right now. Almost. What are you asking for in addition? You want Zach Ballou? You can have him. Done. Really? Really? The fuck? I don't understand. I guess I should at least talk to Fernando Tatis. But I'm not going to be able to afford him. So, like, we can, like, have a chat. Even that is way too much money. Way too fucking much money. I'm surprised these guys haven't signed yet. They must be thinking about it. A Silver Slugger for Chris Hughes, eh? Alright. He did have a pretty good offensive year. I'm not that surprised by that. Single year contracts all get signed. Oh, Mr. Gouda? Don't send me scouting reports. I don't care. And we'll go up to Hall of Fame voting. Carlos Correa definitely deserves it. I want to get the big names on here first, and then I'll come back and grab others. Aarondola, I think, deserves it. So does McClanahan. For sure. Juan Soto, definitely. Brandon Woodruff and Trey Turner, obviously. And then it's really a bunch of players that are all, like, fair to middling. Like, there's not really any other dominant players. In fact, while I think Soto, Correa, and maybe one of the pitchers makes it this year, possibly including Trey Turner, I'll vote for Bogarts too. I genuinely don't think there's going to be that much interest in a lot of them. I will vote for Pete Alonso since he had 500 homers. I'll toss a vote to Jordan Alvarez. Again, I'm not convinced either one of them is going to make it. Alex Bregman should. I think it's really interesting that Alex Bregman can even break 15%. Further proof of how underrated third basemen are in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, like, a lot of you guys are just guys. Like, very few of you strike me as, yes, you must be in the Hall of Fame. I'll vote for Matt Olson just for fun, but again, meh. Corey Seager, I suppose, deserves a vote. I'm going to do a pity vote for Tyler Soderstrom. I'm going to try to keep him alive. But I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to vote for anybody else. I think I'm satisfied with this. And I think at most we get 3 elections this year, and it could equally be 0, based on how the AI has reacted of late. Alright, free agency filings. Let's frickin' go. I am sitting on very little money. I have quite a bit of money, excuse me. I have a lot of money for free agents, not so much for extensions. That's fine. That is fine. Probably because of how much money McDevitt is expected, but we got a lot of players who are all entering arbitration at the same time. So we're going to have to make some hard choices this offseason for sure. And throughout the season itself. But that's a problem for tomorrow's Avi. What about this year's Avi? I got $30 million in my pocket. My owner wants me to improve attendance, which fair, and improve my farm system. Very challenging. He wants a better first baseman, and so do I. And that's really something I can get without breaking the bank. I also would like another starting pitcher. Maybe not, actually. Maybe we just let Tim Ellis just figure shit out. That might work, too. But I wouldn't mind getting a decent starting pitcher to support us should the worst happen, should some of our players not work out. Also, you're lying to me again, game. Don't lie to me. I demand to know what my scout thinks of them. Done. Okay. This is still a starting pitching staff with a fair bit of upside, but I wouldn't mind a reliable starter if we can find one. The bullpen is great. I'm not going to fuck with that at all, I don't think. I have so many good outfielders. So many. Cabral did bounce back some in AAA. And I think he's, again, going to get an opportunity in the big leagues. Definitely in spring training, for sure. But I do question his frontline skill level if he doesn't improve. I'm going to lose David Gallegos if I don't trade him. So I'm going to trade him for literally anything. This is just a matter of getting a decent prospect, because otherwise he's going to take him in the Rule 5 and I'll get nothing for him. You know what, Bargy? You're in. Done. Um... Yeah, Luis Ibarra might some days be as good as Kevin Cox is right now. And if that isn't damning with faint praise, I don't know what is. I do want to put Ronnie Small on the 40 man or 38 man. I'll always call it the 40 man because I'll keep forgetting what it's actually properly called. Oh, Joey Rogers is a low-key decent catching option too. We're gonna have ourselves quite the battle for catcher. But we really do want a first baseman. I think a great offensive first baseman or a great shortstop, either one of those things would be amazing right now, would really set us up for great successes in the future. So let's look at first baseman. I could get Liam's. Oh God, no. I'm not paying that much money, especially for a player who might not even make the roster. Try again, mate. Joe Morris is not exciting in any stretch of the imagination. He is acceptable. Who got them some offensive skill? Like Christian Hernandez would obviously be amazing. I cannot afford that. It is impossible for me to afford that. David Bernal isn't very exciting because he doesn't have a ton of power. He's a very weird dude, and that he's a first baseman that's basically trying to run his way into a positive performance. I'd like somebody a little bit better. I wouldn't object to giving him a minor league contract, like with a chance to play in spring training. I think that's reasonable. Alvaro Moreno, way too expensive. Good choice though. He's a complete hitter, and that's always incredibly useful. But I can't afford this shit. Like, I cannot. Omari Daniel, way too expensive. Yeah. I could try signing Moreno for 1 year, but I don't want to lose a draft pick for a 1-year player. Same thing with Omari Daniel. We've got a shortstop this time around. Yeah. What? This guy is fucking incredible. I have to. Right? Like, he's so good. And I'm getting him for his prime years. Let's change his steal up a little bit. No opt-out. And I want 2 team options at the end of it. But if you give me that, I will make you a very wealthy man, Santiago. Very wealthy indeed. Like, I had no intention of coming in or signing a play like this, but it's like, it's Rodolfo Romero all over again. Except an even better hitter somehow, which is completely nuts. Completely nuts. Like, he'd be a fantastic shortstop, fantastic second baseman. We can move people around. Yes. I know this is going to cost us some of our arbitration guys potentially, but he's so fucking good that I don't care. I really don't care. Yes, I do have Demoya, so I'm not going to bother with the pitcher this year. We have enough young talent, plus newer talent, plus more established veteran talent that I feel pretty confident that we'll figure it out. You would offer me the Jeff Locke? He sucks, though. Real hard. I'm sorry, pals. But I literally could not afford him. So, I wish you well, but I don't want Gavin Guidry back. Stop trying to give me Gavin Guidry. I mean, it is funny that apparently I can't quit him and he can't quit me either. No, Ellie De La Cruz isn't that interesting. Boom. I know that was a lot of money. Oh, damn, Cleveland. Way to back up the Brinks truck for Oviedo. I think that's a mistake, my guys. I guess it's not that bad, but that's a long time to have him. So, keeping in mind the standard price point, all we need from Luna is 4 wins a season and we come out ahead. And I think he's capable of way more than that. So, get on that main roster, my friend. I am jazzed that we got Luna. Truly, truly jazzed. That's going to be great. You would offer me a 28-year-old third baseman. He's pretty meh. I've got to be honest with you. He's pretty meh. Is there anybody... I don't really care about most of these guys. Rule 5 draft. Auto pick. I would take on the appropriate first baseman if they had the ability to hit baseballs quite well. So we've got a lot of contact types who can't hit for power. Here we go. Henry Allen. Flash's father? No. I like Mike Baker better. Yeah, we'll take him in the Rule 5, and give him a chance to win the job in spring training, too. Why not? Oh, is my 38-man roster full? It is full. Who is the worst player who currently has a job with my team? Too many. Ed Arnett. I don't think anyone's going to bother claiming him. Because I do want Mike Baker, just to give him a chance. And then I'm just going to end the rest of this draft. I don't really feel the need to stick with it. The New York Mets. New York City. Go for it, Diamondbacks. Enjoy him. Enjoy him. All right, my friends. I will step away momentarily, and I'll be right back. All right, so we've got a new player, and I'm pretty excited. The obvious comparison is obviously going to be Rodolfo Romero. In a lot of ways, they're quite similar. And we look at our old pal Rodolfo. Let's see what he's up to these days. How many Rodolfos could there be? Oh my gosh, quite a few of them. I think this is my Rodolfo Romero. Also Cuban. I did not remember that. Look at the year ahead with the Cubs last year. Holy shit. So yeah, very, very similar kind of player. Although our version is obviously quite a bit younger. And I think has more power than Romero ever did. I don't know where he's going to play on this version of the Oakland A's. I truly don't. He could even probably make a pretty good third baseman if we decide that's where we want to go. But I will trust in my manager to find the best position for him. And we quickly take a look at our current lineup. You're playing Luna at second base and moving Randy Hoskins to first base. That seems fairly reasonable to me. I'm actually okay with that. Keeping Hughes at short. Like, I genuinely think Luna would be the better shortstop, but I'm not going to argue. This is a formidable lineup, my friends. Formidable indeed. Yeah. We could potentially upgrade at third. Let's take a quick gander. And I want the best third base option here. Antonio Anderson isn't terribly interesting. He's not a great third baseman. He's just fine. Carl Sumner is not a bad player, but he's not a very good one. Okay, Andre Montuno is not a good enough third baseman. So let's immediately add filter. And we're going to do fielding at third base is at least 50. Because I'm not even going to waste my time if they're not a decent third baseman. There we go. Gabe Gunn could be a pretty decent option, I guess. Here's my concern, though. Here's my concern. Oh, Aiden Harris. Didn't I draft you a long time ago? I did. You were a second round pick, and then I traded you. Probably. Jesus Lebo's got the glove, if that's what I'm focused on, but I don't think that I am. I want a nice mix. I want a fairly good third baseman who can also hit okay. Maybe Mr. Noriega here is the right call. Oh, there it goes again. Let's offer Mr. Noriega here. Oh great, it's doing it again. Game. I think because I alt-tabbed out. That's my guess right now. But yeah, let's submit a 1-year deal for you. And go from there. Hall of Fame results. Only Juan Soto made it, which I actually find fairly surprising. Now, In real life, I do think that Carlos Correa is going to struggle because of the obvious connection to the Astros of 2017. I think most of the players from that team are going to struggle. Like, just last year, when Hall of Fame voting came out, there's no way in hell Carlos Beltran isn't a first round Hall of Famer without the whole I played for the Astros thing. It's just not possible. Because that's how bloody good he is. You're quite right, quite right. I would like you to play in AAA. For now. International amateurs. This is obviously not correct. Let me quickly make sure this gets fixed. I would like... It's under rules... No. Honk. I am not seeing the international free agency stuff. It's under players? It is under players. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is what breaks it. It's because of the revenue sharing. I'm going to try turning this off and see if that fixes the issue. It really doesn't. I might as well leave it on then. It will get fixed. I think it's just because of all the nonsense. But yeah, we will. I am not going to spend $6 million on these players. I have standards. I'd only want to spend that much for a really elite player like a Nelson Vigil. Not a note. I hit the wrong damn button. I will happily offer him a contract, though. I'm going to offer him $4 million. That seems fair. Because he's just that bloody good. And he actually can't handle third base. I think he's an amazing player and a huge benefit to our franchise if he chooses to sign. There we go. Nice. So I've definitely got some options now for spring training to try to figure out who the actual best third baseman is going to be. It's our first open competition for third base in a very long time. Because remember, it was Peyton Green for a long time, and then we brought in Fernando Tatis, and now we just have all these different players that all offer something, but presently none of them by themselves are truly exceptional. So it's going to be a matter of just letting as many players get spring training time as possible, and letting either injuries or just quality play sorted out. That is my way of thinking, at any rate. Bernal, Noriega, Crawford. Alvaro Santana just offers nothing that's even remotely interesting. He's just one of those players that never worked out. Yeah. So I definitely want Bernal and Noriega to get some playing time, I think, is reasonable. I got 4 catchers to work through. Plenty of pitchers. Let's go and add McAfee, though, just in case. Yedelson Davini still strikes me as a really, really good pitcher that just hasn't had a chance. I'm going to toss him a spring training invite. Let him play with the big league coaches and see if he can get some hard-earned knowledge on what he can do to be a little bit better. So we're going to do this. I'm going to do this. So it looks like Noriega has an early lead on the third base position, which doesn't hugely shock me, but we'll see what happens. Let us now advance some time. Wow, Ronnie Small just took a step forward, as did Yedelson Davini. So clearly, working with our coaches, our big league coaches in spring training, is making a difference, which is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. We also have all of our draft picks, which is another reason I was really excited to sign Luna. Because the only cost was money. And while money is definitely important, draft picks are ways to get good players for cheap. And although we haven't been as brilliant at drafting this franchise, we'll take a quick look at that here when we finish this spring training. Once we see the opening day roster, we can talk about who's around and who isn't. Poor Dave Tingle, arms tingles. It'll do that. It'll do that. So all the games are done, which is critical because that helps us decide who's actually going to make the roster. Alright, I'm currently rocking 20 pitchers. Many of you are going to say goodbye. I think to start the season off, 13-13 is a good split. And we can play around with that a little bit. So the question is, of Ellis and Allen, who is the better choice to stick in the big leagues? I mean, Allen already had a fairly good rookie season. I think we keep both with the understanding that Ellis is going to fill out in the bullpen. So we got to find other pitchers to you. No, don't fucking start game. I will never understand why this happens. I literally just want him on my flipping AAA roster, which like, no, put him on the injured list. I guess I will. I suppose it doesn't hurt anything, and I can just demote him when he gets back, but that is still kind of annoying. I still have way too many pitchers. 3 more gotta go. So goodbye to Tim Ellis. Bork to the minors. And probably Hunt to the minors. That gives us 13 pitchers. Why are you not starting Demoya? What has he done to annoy you over Danny Gross? I'm willing to try it, but I frankly don't want to spend this much fucking money for a reliever. He's never going to opt out. I'm going to force you to start Demoya. I don't think it's as useful having him as... What's his face? Oh, I can't force him to be a starter. That's annoying. Game. Alright, 4 catchers is excessive. There's no disputing the 4 catchers is in fact excessive. Ronnie Small took a pretty big jump. I want him to play a little bit more in the minors. So it comes down to who do I want more? Mike Twist or Joey Rogers? Rogers is definitely the better catcher of the two. Twist is definitely the better hitter. All levels, please. I think Rogers is much closer to being his best self, so I'm going to let Twist go to the minors with the understanding that he can improve in his overall consistency. Alright, I got 4 first basemen. And the only one I feel really passionate about is Randy Hoskins. Bernal is really, really interesting, and I kind of want to keep him around, but we'll talk about that. There's sort of no difference between Randy Hoskins and Kevin Cox, except the fact that Randy Hoskins is better. So, Mr. Cox, you get to go to the minors. I think Baker gets returned to his team. So Bernal might make the roster and he might not. I'm pretty well set with starting infielders now. I think I'm going to trade Steve Crawford and see if I can get a decent prospect in exchange for him. There's nothing to do with Crawford, but given his skill set and the fact he can really only handle second, I mean, I could keep him on the roster just let him be a utility guy, but I've got a lot of utility guys right now. No, I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to trade Crawford and try to get ourselves a prospect. Anybody blue? Gotta look for them blues, right? No blues. We are blueless. There's a lot of really talented players on offer, though, for sure. I don't really want outfielders. I think we have too many outfielders. I would stretch the point for a really great one. Joe Ivy is basically Steve Crawford. I like Josh Price quite a bit. I like having another high minor league level catcher. That's certainly an attractive proposition. If I can get Villa and Price, that would be amazing. I'm not going to guarantee it, but it'd be cool if we could. I will commit to the offer. And I will just advance one day and see how he reacts. He is not opposed to making the deal, which is great. Yeah, Luis Ibarra can go. I'm happy with this deal. Right. Back to setting up the main roster. 4 third baseman is definitely excessive. Poor Erwin Sweetland actually had like a 50% chance to make the roster before I found Noriega and Spiva. So I think Sweetland to the minors, Stallman to the minors. So got to get rid of several outfielders. Okay. Portillo, Harper, and actually, Devin Stallman wouldn't. No, Devin Stallman actually would, in fact, embarrass himself if played in the infield. I'd rather have Gallego. At least Gallego can play the positions quite well. I'm gonna demote Bernal for now. My issue right now is I don't have a great backup, but I'm willing to let my manager figure that part out. So let's go and add Noriega to the roster. I don't necessarily love having 6 outfielders, but the obvious man out is Bobby Guerra, and I don't really know that I want to give up on him yet. I think Bobby Guerra is a perfectly fine outfielder, and I do think, especially if we have an injury or two, he's going to have a role to play on this team. I genuinely believe that. The only question is, no, I have to send an outfielder down. I can't roll with only one backup infielder. I can't do it. Especially one whose best position is first base. I think we have to send down an outfielder. So the question is it Santa Cruz or Guerra? I think it's... Guerra's so good defensively compared to Santa Cruz. What's concerning me is Cabral is only improving slightly. He hasn't had that big year yet. Now, he would definitely have that year if we put him in AAA. I think Cabral would have a gigantic monster year. There is, of course, setting down Estrada, but Estrada had a really good year last year, too. He is a really good center fielder. It comes down to Santa Cruz or Guerra. That's what I'm stuck on. Guerra's definitely the more well-rounded player, and if his ability to hit home runs improves slightly, he'll actually be better than Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is also real dumb. Alright, dumb guy, go to the minors. And... Can Stallman? No, Stallman can only play third. I think Gallego gets called up. Because he can handle all the infield positions with some level of skill. So I think he's a fine choice to be our 26-man. Oh, I do need to get rid of somebody off the 40-man roster, don't I? What did I give up for Sweetland? Do I care if I give up? Not really. But I do want to keep him around just in case. Just in case-aroo. No, let's just flip Sweetland. I know I gave up 2 players for him, but none of them were very good. We can find ourselves like an interesting piece to add to the team if I just offer him up. I could bring Jesus Jacobo back, which I would never do in a million years. Like, the obvious play is Vizcarrondo, solely for the fact that I think he has... Oh, he doesn't have option years left, so I can't just send him to the minors and ignore him. Kurt Phipps. I bet you don't have enough playing time. I bet you have option years. Amazing. Fippy Phipps. Let's send you to the minors. By the way, it is not lost on me that we could technically cheat and use all this money to help us find players. The international bonus pool money. You really need a 40-man roster spot? Really? That's meant to be for Gallego, though. Like, you literally don't solve my problem at all. I'm going to trade Joey Harper and see if we can get ourselves a genuine prospect for him. There's some options being made available to us. Joel Miller seems like a really decent choice. Yeah, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to go back and take Joel Miller. I think he is the best option here. Complete trade. I think Joey Harper is going to be like at least a mid-range corner outfielder or a first baseman, I guess. And he's not a bad player. I just don't have a spot for him. So yes, I wish him well. I hope he has a nice career with Chicago. But I couldn't afford to... I needed to clear an opening day roster spot, and that's what I did. And then Mr. Miller can go to the minors. You can go on to the 38-man roster and sent to the minors, although I don't think he'll be there for very long. And there we go. Your opening day Oakland A's, featuring most prominently your mother. No. Wait, so who's Cabral DHs against right-handed pitching. That makes sense. And then Williamson does against lefties. I kind of wish Cabral was playing every day, but he's not. So I will just let him work up some experience, and then we can go from there. But Estrada, Hoskins, DeWitt, Luna, Williamson is a pretty damn good lineup. Like, let me be clear on this. There's only one player here I don't expect to hit very well, and that's Tony Mello, who's our catcher. Noriega should thump some bombs. Chris Hughes has always been a positive contributor. I love the idea of moving him to second. I think Luna is the better shortstop, and I think it makes us a better team. But I have no concerns at all about Hughes being able to handle second. He's actually been one of the better shortstops. So let's... And pitching-wise, I think this is going to be an interesting rotation. You really don't want to play DeMoya in the rotation because of Danny fucking Gross, and I find that bizarre. Like, yes, Danny Gross could be a pretty decent starting pitcher. I don't doubt that. But I'd rather have DeMoya, who actually has a proven track record of being a top-tier starter. My man DeMoya, who is demand, one might say, has actually been a pretty consistent starting pitcher. Giving us 150-plus innings for several years. But despite the injuries, though. I mean, that is a fair point. That is something that makes him a little bit less valuable. Regardless, let's see where we got our people from. So, for our pitching staff, we have 2 starting pitchers that we signed. Or drafted, excuse me. One of those an international free agent. Sorry, 3 starters that were drafted. In Gross, Allen, and Swanson. We got a couple of trades, and then we've got Juan DeMoya on international free agency. Our bullpen is mostly traded for, with the exception of Bobby Stoll and Joel Volpert, both of whom are amazing pitchers that are also homegrown. Danny Gross making the majors as a 9th-round draft pick is pretty awesome. Although he hasn't done a huge amount for us yet, the fact that he could is really exciting to me. Because that's tremendous value. That's fantastic value. So we'll see if he can make it stick. Our line oops. Where are we getting our players from here? So we have 3 draft picks in this roster right now. Cabral, DeWitt, and Rogers, none of whom were taken in the first round. I will remind you. We had several trades, plus Luna as a free agent signing. That's really interesting to me. Because I remembered us having some successful first round draft picks, but evidently not. It's also possible they're just languishing in the minors waiting for an opportunity. We'll take a very quick look at our past draft history. I wonder if we've just sucked at drafting or it's just been a lack of opportunity. There's Volper. Volper was a first round pick. There's Chris Allen. He was a first round pick. Alex Mueller probably should still be with Oakland, if I'm honest with you. He's actually a really talented player. Yeah, this trade didn't feel great. I had much higher hopes for Gallegos and Ibarra at the time. Neither of whom play for me anymore. Jorge Herrera does. But who knows if he'll ever actually get into the majors. So, probably should have kept Mueller, but I remember even thinking at the time there was a bit of a risk there. Alex Pinto. I apparently dropped a lot of pitchers as first round picks, which makes sense. Chris Wenzel didn't pan out. Mike Howman we could bring back if we really wanted to for some reason. There's Dice Mel Minor, who's actually had a pretty nice career. Josh Roberson, I think we just take a lot of draft. We take a lot of pitchers as our first round picks, which has paid off for us huge dividends. But because we take so many pitchers, we miss when we do take hitters, and I think that's been an issue for us. But I mean, when you get players like DeWitt and Cabral, where you get them, it tends to work out. It tends to work out. And if you can nail a 4th and 7th round pick, the fact that your first round hitters in the past didn't work out is fine. And we're trading for first round talent, I think, is another thing that you shouldn't miss on. We're getting talented players, just not directly through the draft. We're getting them mostly through free agency and trades, especially trades. Now, the Butcher's bill will come due. Because of Fuckhead McGee. I mean, John Fisher. I mean, Fuckhead McGee. Our farm system is better now. If we have a good draft, I think it'll get even better. I think you'll find first base was upgraded. But this is the end of the day. This is our big issue. Our payroll is going to skyrocket over the next few years because of arbitration. And because of other costs as well. And that's something we're going to have to come to grips with. We're going to have to make some really tough choices both next offseason and the off seasons after that to try to get the payroll to a point where we can make it happen. I'd love to grab somebody for a cheap long-term contract to end the episode, but I don't know who that should be. I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling Swanson is going to opt out. I don't think he's going to want to stay here because I think he probably thinks he can make more money. But he is worth it, sort of. We've had worse first round picks for sure. Our bullpen is what's going to get real expensive. And I think that's where we're going to make our big savings. It's just going to be getting rid of finding 1 or 2 relievers that are top quality and then getting rid of the rest. Santa Cruz wants a shit ton of money. He's also on the very, very short list of people that's going to be traded in the near future, I think. Your arbitration amount is just not $6 million. It is not. It's not that $6 million isn't reasonable based on what you've produced already in 2 years in the major leagues. It's not a good value. Hoskins also isn't getting a huge amount of money. So we're going to have some decisions to make. Estrada's probably also on borrowed time. And this is why. I don't mind giving him, say, another year or two with arbitration, but I'm not going to give him a long-term contract until Brucey can stay healthy. 120 games out of a center fielder is nice, but I'd like that to be closer to 130 or 140. We do have the huge flexibility that DeWitt can play shortstop, a center field without embarrassing us. Like, he can't play shortstop. That would be amazing if he could. But it seems pretty unlikely. How close was he to getting MVP last year? Did he even make it? He finished second. And I think I remember bitching about that and thinking he should have gotten it, which I still believe he should have, but it's okay. With DeWitt leading us, players like Santiago Luna and quality pitching, I think we're in a really good spot. One thing we don't have right now is cost control pitching. That's one of our great weaknesses. The only pitcher we have that we know will still be here in 2 years is DeMoya. And I don't necessarily know that he's the one that I want to keep. That said, Chris Allen's still cheap for a couple of years. McDevitt is going to be a reasonable arbitration cost, I think. We shall figure it out. Until next time, my friends, this has been Evguardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.